Yesterday in Bollington, near Macclesfield, we were walking our young grandson. We saw a horse. "Look," we said, "there's a horse." My wife said, "What an odd thing to say. It's not so many years ago that horses were a common sight. Now they're so unusual, we have to point one out." Living in Cumbria, sheep are not an unusual sight, but they are to Sun, the girlfriend of our son Philip. Yes, I know it's confusing, but Sun is from South Korea and Philip and Sun live in Malaysia. There are no sheep in Malaysia. I am a lay minister in the Anglican Church. I'm also a lay preacher in the Methodist Church. The fact that I am both is irrelevant, but I like to be accurate. I often find myself preaching about sheep or shepherds, because the Bible is full of stories about sheep and shepherds. The parable of the lost sheep, for example. And Jesus compared himself to a shepherd caring for his flock. I have a useful book which lists the use of words in the Bible. There are several pages of sheep and shepherd. That's because the Bible lands are in the Middle East, where sheep were very common, just like Cumbria in fact. So at least congregations here have some concept of a sheep and a shepherd. But I doubt the same is true in the cities, where you don't see many sheep or horses. Incidentally, and it is incidental, there are virtually no mentions of horses in the New Testament of the Bible, except in one particular book, where there are lots, but that's another story. I'm sure you're wondering where this is leading. Well, I wanted to talk about fleeces, which set me thinking whether young people today know what a fleece is. I think of being fleeced. Well, I don't think of this very often, and I can't recall being fleeced, but it is an expression I'm familiar with. Are you? I mean, are you familiar with the expression, not are you being fleeced? Being fleeced means being taken advantage of, overpaying for something, for example. It used to be common to say that taxi drivers fleeced you. That was of course before meters and Uber. Now they simply take you for a ride. We have now arrived at the subject of my Thursday thought. Fleeces. Wool fleeces. Every sheep has one, but would prefer to keep it. They have no desire to be fleeced. But the reality is that every sheep which becomes lamb or mutton gives up its fleece. And so we have a free byproduct. Of course, sheep produce wool without being fleeced. This is when they are sheared, which is not as drastic an event for them. Sadly, today we don't value this free gift as we should. Farmers receive very little money for wool. You could say they're being fleeced. But we should value wool. It's an amazing product, as those who have spoken before me in this slot have testified. I am proud that the Westman family, and Reggae in particular, is doing its bit to promote this wonderful product. Do you remember the advertising phrase, "the wonder of woolies"? Well, Woolworths, because it was that shop we're talking about, has gone the way of horses on our high streets. So soon that slogan will be consigned to the dustbin of history. But wool is wonderful. We should value it. We should enjoy it. We should celebrate it. We should cherish it. That's the real wonder of wool is.